The season has become unpredictable, and there are long droughts. We cannot do the farming.
We have seen that climate change will seriously affect small-scale men and women farmers. So as early as 2008, we had a session, regional consultation on climate change issues. And then this year, we conducted village and national in-country consultations and district consultations on climate change issues.
The climate change is badly affecting my family and our community. It brings heavy rains even during the harvest season. And these rains destroy our crops.
Food insecurity is very rampant in many rural areas in Southeast Asia. When we ask them what are the reasons for this food insecurity, number one factor in most consultation is the crop failure. So why did their crops fail? Because of unpredictable weather. They have a usual cropping pattern, but because it rains, when they do not expect rain, and there is drought, there is flood, they often have crop failure.
There were 4 rows of banana trees here. All of them were already bearing fruits. All my plants were destroyed by the flood. There used to be a row of papaya trees here. Up to that portion there, all got damaged. My vegetables are all gone.
Climate change exacerbates food insecurity, mainly because the production is highly dependent on weather conditions. And they also said that because of these changes in the weather, there's higher incidence of rats, pest infestation. And mainly households practice subsistence farming. So what they produce, they eat. And hence, food security is very closely tied to the success of their food production. So when there's no rain, they have no irrigation, no agri production, no food.
두 분의 홍수 피해로 인한
I lost all my assets and farms twice because of typhoons. One is Typhoon Thelma in 1987, and then Mamie in 2003. My whole house was sunk underwater. At that time, I lost not only my family's assets, but also my mother-in-law. She passed away during the typhoon in 2003. Our family had to evacuate from my hometown, with a coffin bearing my mother-in-law. I have never experienced such frightful storm in my whole life.
We also see the special need to focus on women. Women are very important in food production. Apart from being food producers, they have also important roles in meeting food security at the household and at the community level.
We work all day in the farm and in the house. It is our responsibility to both feed our children and then to plant in the field. Because of these responsibilities, the climate change brings us more problems and more worries.
Most of us wake up in the 4 a.m. in the morning, doing all those things like taking water, washing the clothes, cooking, gathering small firewood. But we would like to emphasize that cutting the big trees is not the work of women, it's the work of the man.
Usually, when we don't have money, our husbands turn to drinking and other vices. And this leads to domestic violence.
When the women have many things to do, we draw the men. After the work, drinking, watching TV, sometimes reading magazines, and sometimes cockfighting. In the case of English, he is saying that women cannot go out the house, but still men work because the men who attend the meeting.
The burden is on the women. Men may be the ones who are tasked to make money for the family, but women are the ones responsible in budgeting this money and making it enough for the children's education, health, and food.
So how does this affect women? There's greater uncertainty and risk in agricultural food production. These affect women because they are food producers. Climate change also makes it more difficult for women to access water for drinking and for other household use. This affects them because the fetching of water is taken care of by the women. There is increased incidence of sickness and diseases. This affects women because they are the ones who are in charge of taking care of their children. There is less income for food and other expenses. This affects women because they are the ones in charge of the management and allocating resources for food and other uses.
It becomes very difficult in times of crisis.
How do they cope at the community level? So some of the types of farming technologies that they promote that help them cope with the problem of climate change and food insecurity are the concept of community reforestation and family tree planting. The use of check dams and rainwater storage, what they call the mini umbok, so they have these different contraptions to catch water from the rain. And also the use of biomass for fuel instead of firewood. They use the manure from the animals to produce biomass. And particularly evident in Cambodia, what we call the system of rice intensification or SRI. The use of terracing, particularly observed in upland areas, the use of compost fertilizers, organic farming, and diversified integrated farming system.
Yung karanasan kasi pag organic, organically grown rice has strong resistance to calamities like heavy rains. Bagyo o sa anumang kalamidad, because it is not forced to grow. Kung may fertilizer yan na chemicals, unlike those planted with chemical fertilizers, which gets easily damaged and rotten. Bulok naman yung halaman mo. Madaling mabulok, madaling masira, madaling mamatay. When you put chemical fertilizers in your palay, it grows quickly. But the plant is soft, thus vulnerable to pests. You will be forced to use pesticides. Pag nag-fertilizer ka, the first time you use chemical fertilizer, your plants grow well. But after using it the third time, you will suffer. Your plants will no longer grow even if you use chemical fertilizers because it causes the soil to lose its natural balance. It is not sustainable. That is the big problem.
We see agriculture as a key contributor of greenhouse gas emissions, but we see sustainable agriculture done by smallholder farmers as also a key solution to the issues of climate change. So we want support for smallholder farmers so that they can adapt to climate change, and we want support so that they can promote and mainstream and do massive sustainable agriculture practices in their farms.